Well, good morning, everybody. Certainly like to welcome you all to Westfield and to America's largest sports park in Grand Park. This is a huge day in very many ways because roads, streets, and bridges. I know of no government asset that more often touches the lives of nearly every Hoosier nearly every day, whether it's our kids on a school bus, all of us driving to and from work, or hundreds of thousands of truckloads of goods coming in to and from our manufacturers, our distribution centers, of which Indiana has become an epicenter of roads, streets, and bridges, touch every one of those. So I know I speak on behalf of local governments across Indiana. We are absolutely thrilled that our legislature, under the guidance of Governor Pence, has begun the process of taking a good look at how we're going to maintain these critical assets in Indiana. And not only is it important to us every day, but the investment that is made in roads also affects economic development to a huge extent. I can tell you in all sincerity that Grand Park would not be the economic development driver for Westfield, for Central Indiana, and literally for all of Indiana if we did not have the gift of the US 31 freeway project, just located just a quarter mile east of this point, with several exits that are well marked to come to Grand Park. Because last year we had over 1.6 million visitors to Grand Park, who spent in total over $94 million in lodging, restaurants, entertainment. They spent that much, and they also dropped about $6 million worth of sales tax in Indiana. Many of them bought a few gallons of gas, spent their fuel tax money here, and then they went home. So this has had a huge impact on Central Indiana because of the investments in our roads and streets. We are very grateful to Governor Pence and to our legislative leaders, Senator Kenley from right here in Hamilton County, who has led this endeavor, and we citizens certainly want to thank all of you and Commissioner Hendrickson from INDOT, who you're going to figure out how to do all this now, right? But with this staff, you're all set. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce you to our governor, Mike Pence.
Great.
You helped us cut the ribbon.
Great, I did. And Mayor Andy Cook, thank you so much. It's wonderful to be in Westfield, and what a grand park. I've worked on that line all morning. I thought I'd get a big one. What a grand park this is in Westfield, Indiana. It's become an incredible showplace, a great destination. And Mayor, we appreciate your leadership and your friendship and your hospitality today for this historic event. I'm so grateful to be joined by members of our administration and by virtually the most significant leadership in the House and the Senate that brought forward this extraordinary series of bills that will make a historic investment in local infrastructure in the state of Indiana and make a significant investment in our state-maintained roads and bridges. Let me introduce those in particular. He's no stranger in Hamilton County, but he is the finest superintendent of the finest state police force in the United States of America. Doug Carter is with us, and Superintendent, it's good to be with you. The mayor kindly mentioned Brandy Hendrickson. She leads this spectacular INDOT team that apparently a large percentage of which are here today. But would you join me in thanking Brandy Hendrickson and all these fantastic, hardworking Hoosiers that make up INDOT. And just very honored to be joined and be able to give credit where credit is due by members of the General Assembly whose hard work, whose determination, whose vision is really brought forward these important bills that we will sign today here in Westfield. Chief among them, Speaker Brian Bosma, who's been a leader on infrastructure throughout his long and storied career. Mr. Speaker, thank you for being here, and thank you for your leadership. And Senator Luke Kenley, also of Hamilton County, will be joining me at the table. And Senator Kenley has been a visionary on infrastructure and an extraordinary steward of taxpayer dollars throughout his career. Senator Kenley, thank you for your great leadership. Other members have played a key role in these bills. Representative Ed Soliday is the chairman of the Transportation Committee and shepherded this complex legislation through the legislative process, is with us, as well as Senator Brant Hirschman, who was instrumental and the architect of a historic investment in local infrastructure. Joining these leaders in transportation innovation are Senator Jim Buck, Senator Doug Eckerty, Representative Gail Reekin, Representative Donna Shibley, and join me in thanking each and every one of these outstanding legislators for their great leadership. I want to acknowledge local officials who are in the room here in Westfield and in Hamilton County. Thank you for being with us. This is an exciting day. And I'm going to share a few brief remarks and then sit down and put pen to paper and move Indiana forward in living up to our reputation as the crossroads of America. But let me say emphatically, Indiana is the crossroads of America. I think every Hoosier should be proud of the extraordinary investments the people of this state have made over much of the last decade in ensuring that we remain that crossroads of America, that destination. And simply, when I look at the record employment in the state of Indiana today, 140,000 net new jobs created over the last 3 years, more Hoosiers working than ever before. I truly believe it's been those innovative investments in infrastructure and putting those resources to work for the people of Indiana that's played a leading role in that economic growth. Over the past decade, Hoosiers, over and above everything in the federal highway program that we invest and get back, Hoosiers have found a way to invest more than $7 billion in infrastructure projects. And as the mayor mentioned, some infrastructure projects that were only dreamt of for generations in the state of Indiana are now well on their way to becoming a reality. US 31 here in Hamilton County and its improvements all the way up to South Bend, Indiana are part. Gail Reekin, no doubt, came up from Evansville today and enjoyed that improved portion of I-69. But the extraordinary improvement in I-69 from Evansville to Indianapolis is extraordinary. And the Ohio River Bridges project, before the end of this year, we will cut the ribbon on a second bridge on the Ohio River that literally was talked about before I was born, which was a really long time ago. But it's become a reality because Hoosiers have found a way to make critical investments in our infrastructure. I'm proud to say that during the course of our administration, we've actually increased funding for transportation every year, $1.26 billion above INDOT's base budget of funding since 2013. But today, with the strong support of Speaker Brian Bosma, Chairman Ed Soliday, Senator Luke Kenley, and Senator Brant Hirschman, and all these outstanding legislators, we're going to make one more installment in the crossroads of America with over $1 billion of investment in our state and local roads. Now, we're making a significant investment in our state roads, but let me emphasize today, with the creative energies of these legislators, we're making a historic investment in local infrastructure. And let me explain to you how that works. I mean, clearly for our state-maintained roads, we're grateful. The legislature, through House Enrolled Act 1001, has provided more than $300 million in excess reserves that will be plowed into the preservation and improvement of state roads. But I think for the reason why we wanted to come to Westfield today is because I think when Hoosiers begin to unpack these resources, they'll understand that the General Assembly, in strong and bipartisan fashion, has provided a structure on an ongoing basis for funding our local communities' needs as never before. This legislation, House Enrolled Act 1001, along with Senate Enrolled Act 67, will provide $430 million of funding through the Local Options Income Tax Reserve Fund that's going to be made available to communities around the state. It also provides $186 million in state reserves to create a matching account for local funding for roads and bridges, plus $277 million over the next 4 years by redirecting an additional 1.5 cents in the gasoline use tax to local roads. And that will lay a foundation for $100 million in funding being available to our local communities every year from now going forward. That is a historic commitment. And also this legislation, I'm pleased to say, creates a task force to bring together the best and brightest minds in the state of Indiana to continue to develop our long-term plan. I have one goal as your governor when it comes to infrastructure, and that is I want to make sure that by the time my service is done, all roads lead to Indiana. And we're going to work with this task force to ensure that we develop the solutions to be able to achieve that, and I look forward to that dialogue. I also would acknowledge with appreciation to members of the General Assembly the full funding of the Regional Cities Initiative that will benefit, for starters, 3 separate regions around the state, helping many local communities in many smaller counties around the state of Indiana improve the quality of life. Now, I'll close with where the mayor finished up, and that is to say, while we're here to sign a bipartisan bill that's about infrastructure and roads and bridges benefiting our state-maintained roads and our local communities, make no mistake about it, for all of us here and for your governor, for me, this is about jobs. These bills are about jobs. And I would say to the people in the bright uniforms behind me, not just road jobs, all right, although those are important. And I truly do believe and have long believed that if you have the right infrastructure and you take care of what you got, you finish what you started, you plan for the future, you can create the kind of infrastructure that will continue to invite the kind of investment that will create jobs and opportunities in this community and in all the other 91 counties of the state of Indiana. So I signed this bill with the gratitude to members of the General Assembly who worked in a bipartisan way to bring about this legislation that will benefit our state and benefit our local communities in meaningful and in all new ways. And I am confident that the resources in these bills will keep Indiana rolling and will ensure that our 3rd century will be our greatest century yet. Thank you all very much, and God bless you. You want to cozy up. You don't need to stand on the rim.
Thanks for having us. Hey, bring it in, get right in here.
You can sign it up, guys.
No, I'm just fine. You gotta maintain them, not me.
Now, we'll do eyes forward shot. Doug, you want your grandson in that shot?
So you go.
Yeah, bring him on.
You read everything.
Where's his grandpa, you got it?
Right back here, mine's over.
Come back over here by your grandson. There we go. Does that work?
Perfect.
Oh, you bet. Great. Okay, now let's try. How about a round of applause for these legislators?